Socially distancing here, but
yeah, as long as that is all.
That's fine. Say, Bruce, Fountain Youth is funding and supporting well over 100 young adults and adults. They've spread out into the community and working. Just talk about the backbone of the program.
Okay. Is that enough?
Just wait. Yeah.
Simon Ressler's back.
Had to deal with technology and I don't get how you guys do it.
You have no audio right now?
I have. Do what?
Technology.
Oh.
Yeah, I have audio.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Go back here.
To the To see exactly how I can help individuals in this community of Dubuque. In a lot of communities, it's marginalized. The bare necessities of life are not pertinent for everyone to have access to. Food, shelter, financial stability. They don't feel like their voices are heard, not valued, being what I call buried alive. They come from very menial positions in life, and I've learned the only thing that they really want is somebody to believe in them and someone to support them. The Founder Youth is a mixture of personal development as well as professional development. And we do it through a core program that we call Partners in Change. And it focuses on helping individuals overcome different traumatic issues in their life that have stemmed from generational poverty mindsets, brain health issues. We also help individuals connect to the community resources that's available to help them become better men and women. The pandemic, it really kind of like put a damper on a lot of things that we had planned. It's actually allowed the Founder Youth to grow in a lot of aspects. We're more flexible now. Our participants would meet with me on Zoom. They'll meet with me on Facebook. They never gave up during the pandemic. They was there every week. They was there. And that surprised me the most, because you would think that when a person is faced with external challenges, that it will make them internally give up. They never folded. They have shown me that the Founder Youth program is something that they need. It's not something that they just want. It authenticates the words that's being spoken, that what we're doing is necessary, no matter what the odds are. This is your community. We all have to be like-minded on the same pages. We all want common unity. I believe that we need to start self-loving ourselves to the point where it will reflect in us begin to love each other. We all in this together. Hope is an important process of this time that we're facing. Because every day that we all rise and be hopeful, you're going to do the right thing. It's always the right time to do the right thing. By believing in what we're doing, spreading the word that we exist, and be willing to continue to work on changing their life. Are you ready for change? And if so, the Founder Youth want to walk with you. We are Founder Youth, and we are here.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Gary Dolphin, the voice of the Iowa Hawkeyes, and this handsome dude next to me is Caprice Jones, who's the executive director of Fountain of Youth. Welcome to tonight's broadcast. We're here to ask your support in funding a cause and funding what has become a great story in our Dubuque-land community, which is the Fountain of Youth. Caprice, give us an overview. What is this, going on 5 years now in Dubuque? You just celebrated your 4th anniversary. You've got
north of 100 young adults and ages 16 to 50 plus who are enjoying a better life because of your mission. Tell us what that mission is.
Well, our mission is to change the mindsets that contributes to generational poverty. And we emphasize the S in mindsets because not only do we want to educate individuals that's been trapped in generational poverty for years, but we also want to educate people that's never experienced generational poverty so that they won't continue to be barriers or become a barrier.
It's a lot of it has to do with behavior. I mean, if you were born in poverty, if you've lived in poverty, if you've never been out of poverty, it's easy to give up. But you know, at the end of the rainbow, you can crawl out of poverty, and it has to do with attitude, behavior, and that's what your group is all about, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I enjoy working with our participants. We work on 7 different SMART goals they can choose from. The whole idea of Partners in Change, that's our core program, is basically to provide personal development as well as professional development for individuals that probably never had the opportunity to experience that for their lives. So a lot of individuals that grew up in generational poverty, they don't be exposed to a lot of things that would put them in a position to begin to win. So what we do is we educate them on the things that they may not have seen to be something that they can overcome, but they have to work on it themselves. So we believe in a model of not a hand out, but a hand up, literally. So we work on 7 different goals, and the goals stem from knowledge of self and others, to financial literacy, to education, to health and wellness, to
we'll run over most of those. Financial, you mentioned citizenship, education, knowledge of self and others. You have to feel good about yourself before you can get out in the community and feel good about everything else.
Absolutely, and basic life skills as well.
Got it. And therefore, you mentioned hand up, all hands in, all hands on deck. And I bring that up because you've got a wonderful, you've developed a wonderful relationship with the city of Dubuque and the community. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a beautiful beginning budding relationship. We've been named top priority city Dubuque for year 2020, but we was named high priority city Dubuque 2019. And so we're beginning to build a long-lasting relationship where we can be a staple in the community to basically take care of some of these issues that people from lived experience can have an opportunity to take care of.
When these young people, young adults graduate from the program, that's got to be a great day in their
Absolutely,
lives.
Yeah. We just actually had one. We had a mixture of a graduation / ceremony because we believe in a ceremonial type of next level that a person that's been our program will go to. But we just started a new program called Community and Change. And we had a host of different community members that's never been in generational poverty go through that. And they basically joined our participants and Partners in Change. And they had a beautiful time with seeing each other in the same boat, but yet come from different backgrounds. And the boat was that they wanted better for themselves.
Perfect. Which gets us to the heart, to the core of what we're doing tonight. I don't have to tell you watching, and Caprice knows this, and his organization, Dubuque City proper, Dubuque County, the Dubuque area, both sides of the river, has been a very giving and caring community for a couple hundred years. And that's what we're here for tonight, to raise funds, raise needed funds to help support the programs that the Fountain of Youth program pushes forward and serves as a genesis. And to build over 100 young people, that's significant, isn't it? I mean, you started from scratch. You started with nothing.
Absolutely. I mean, over the years, we've served close to 1,000 individuals.
Tremendous.
And we've done that just by sheer, timing and also faith and purpose. Right now is the time in 2020 where everyone basically is looking for a way out of their own emotions and feelings of whatever it may be. And we still doing what we're supposed to do to help them.
And the COVID has been a punch in the nose to all of us and a tremendous setback in more corners than others. But there's only one way out of it, and that's straight ahead. Never look over your shoulder, forge forward. So you can't close your doors to these young people. They need your help now more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing an influx, and just the most peculiar part is our participants. They never gave up on their goals because they set a goal, and they have to be in our program for 6 months if they choose to go past 60 days. So 60 days, and then another 60 days, and another 60 days. They all wanted to stay for the whole three phases. We do phases, so it was amazing to me. None of them lost their jobs. They didn't give up to try to just sit back and try to figure out a different way to live. They just basically pushed forward what they had already planned for themselves, and they weathered it out.
Fountain of Youth is self-sustaining, self-supporting because of folks like you who are tuned in tonight. And, of course, they apply for grants like everybody else. And so it's in that vein that we ask your support tonight. I'm going to give you a website a number of times tonight, and so bear with me here. It's QTEGO, and I'll spell it QTEGO QTEGO.net, N-E-T, /QLink/FOY, F-O-Y. You can register and join us in our live broadcast, our live fundraising mechanism this evening, and it's multifaceted. We've got live auction items, Caprice. We've got silent auction items. We've got wonderful support from the community already. We've got this beautiful star that we want to fill up with cash tonight, or certainly by 5 o'clock tomorrow, all on behalf of the Fountain of Youth. We've got some phenomenal live auction items tonight.
I agree, and that's thanks to the community coming together and donating items to us so that we could continue to keep our doors open as well as make an impact in the community more.
What's the reception been like as you talk to businesses? I mean, this program only benefits Dubuque and area businesses, enhances what they do.
Well, I mean, basically the feedback that I get from different businesses is always like, you're doing an awesome job. Man, thanks for taking care of individuals that usually probably wouldn't even get the help that they're looking for or that they need. And so it's always been positive feedback, and it's always been optimism as far as how far we can go, meaning sky's the limit.
Yeah, and there's a lot of energetic young people who want to work. They want that first paycheck. They want to get out in the community, marry, build a life, have kids. But it takes a good education, and it takes some direction, and that's what you provide.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Gary. What I provide is inspiration, motivation, hope, and encouragement, and overall love. Try to love somebody beyond their faults and seek their needs.
Well, your background comes from that. I mean, I've heard you give talks at a number of venues, and very motivational, from the heart, very sincere. Now, I gave you that website a moment ago, qtego.net/QLink/FOY. You can register. You can take a look at those live auction items. You can bid on those live auction items, more importantly. Later on, we're going to ask for you reach deeper into your pockets for Fund a Cause. And for those of you that have been to the Boys and Girls Club outings, any of the collegiate get-togethers, of course, many of those were canceled this year. They ask for an outright donation to fund a cause, to fund a young person. The age limit or age minimum is 16, correct?
Yes.
16 and over, and help these young people get a great start in life for that first big jump off the trampoline down the road to success. At this time, I'm going to introduce to you a friend of the group, board president for the Fountain of Youth, Brock Waterman. Brock, speaking of successful, Brock is the board president for the Fountain of Youth, and let me give you a little bit about Brock. He's been on the board since July of 2018. He's been the president since September of 2019, now starting his second term. He's co-chair of the Finance Committee, so he's a bean counter. He keeps track, along with Caprice, of every cent that comes through the door and makes sure that it's appropriately applied. Brock and his wife, Becky, have lived in Dubuque since 2015. Becky is the owner of Dubuque Massage Therapy and Platteville Massage. So you can see they're very, very active, not only in the business world, but in the community. with great organizations like this. They have two beautiful daughters, Kira and Verity. Let's meet our board president now, Brock Waterman.
Thanks, Gary. We appreciate you being part of our event. It is my honor to welcome you to the Transforming the Future virtually event for 2020. My name is Brock Waterman, as Gary mentioned, and I've been on the board since July of 2018. And I've been president for the last year, and I'm already starting my second term. Before that, my wife, Becky, was president of the board. She came to this as she looked to have an impactful community nonprofit that she could work with for her business, Dubuque Massage Therapy. For us, Fountain of Youth is something that we're really involved in because of the positive impact that it has on the community. Neither of us come from generational poverty, but we have seen it in family and friends. We can relate to those who are trying to understand what Fountain of Youth does and how it helps people. For us, what's been critical is that we open our minds, that we question our assumptions, that we meet participants, and that we listen and that we learn. For those who want to understand better, I would highly recommend looking into our Community and Change program. Our mission is to change the mindsets that would contribute to generational poverty. Our main focus is doing this with our participants through Partners in Change. We focus on the outcomes for people and the results at an individual level. Late in the program, you'll be hearing from some of our participants. For me, that's always the best part of these events because it shows the impact that we have as an organization. The Partners in Change program has 3 60-day stages or phases where our participants can attain goals in one of the following areas: basic life skills, career and professional success, citizenship, education, financial literacy, health and wellness, and knowing yourself and others. Participants learn to become accountable and embrace an accomplishment mindset. Participants also get access to the resources that we have through our referral partners. For instance, in the partners that we have that support us in the community. For instance, DePaco does financial literacy materials, and they have a savings match program. We continue to work with participants even after they are done to give them the support and resources they need to be successful. Doing all this, though, takes money. At this point last year, Fountain of Youth had only one full-time staff person, probably a person everybody knows, Caprice. Now we have 3 full-time staff people, and we're in the process of hiring a programming manager. Obviously, this year's event's different. I think everybody knows that who's watching this. Usually it's in the spring, usually it's in person, and usually you get to interact with the participants, staff, and board. However, this year's different. But that hasn't changed the importance of what Fountain of Youth is doing and the impact that it's having on the participants. In fact, it's only heightened the need for those in poverty to have these access to life-changing programming and the resources that we provide. Your help helps us to support those who are looking to find a better quality of life, gain financial and employment success. At Fountain Youth, we have great corporate partners and sponsors. These partners believe in what we are doing and show it not only through their financial support, but also through their high level of engagement and how they are true community leaders. One of those things we mentioned before was DePaco with the financial literacy and the match program. We have 3 highest level of corporate support that we're going to go ahead and I'm going to thank at this point. The first one is the transforming sponsors. The first one has already been mentioned a couple times, is DePaco, this DePaco Community Credit Union. And the second one is Spawn and Rose. These $5,000 transforming sponsors are the biggest sponsors we have, and we truly thank them. Also, very important are our motivating sponsors. These are the $2,500 sponsorship level. These include Cottingham and Butler, Kunkel and Associates, and Universal Tank. Additionally, we have several inspiring sponsors, which is a $1,000 level. This includes Denlinger Herrig Insurance, Drew Track, Fidelity Bank, Green State Credit Union, Kendall Hunt, McCullough Creative Group, Prudential, and TH Media. I personally would like to thank some other key people that we have, but for the sake of the time, I won't do this individually. For one, I want to thank the Fountain of Youth staff that we have, Caprice, Lori, and Rose. I want to thank our board of directors who are very dedicated and put in so much time to make this organization really go. I want to thank all the amazing volunteers that we have. every single donor that we've had that's helped us to this point and that'll help us in the future, our referral partners who help us bring participants to this to understand what programming is available, and every community member who assists in any way. Thank you for the support you've already given, for how you'll be helping tonight, and for being with us in the future. At Founding Youth, we believe that today's change creates a successful tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Brock Waterman, the board president for this wonderful organization known as the Fountain of Youth. As I turn back to Executive Director Caprice Jones, you mentioned earlier about the 7 change categories. You know, what I find fascinating is the participants that go through your program, you challenge them and they respond. They like to be challenged, and the mind is a wonderful thing, but you've got to keep challenging the mind, the body, the soul, not 24/7, but a lot. And it's got to be fun to watch these young people evolve into terrific citizens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about some of them.
Well, I'll just tell you how I see them, right?
Sure.
From the time when I had to challenge myself. So just think, imagine this. An individual growing up in generational poverty, but yet didn't even know that I was in generational poverty until I was in my mid-20s. And I didn't learn more about generational poverty until I got out of prison in 2013. But just 10 years ago, I had to challenge myself because I was living as a nobody, but yet I always wanted to aspire to be somebody that would make a difference in this world. And imagine me sitting in Division 9, Cook County Jail, on a maximum security deck, and talking to myself in the cell about where do I go from here. In that moment, it's sort of like when I see participants come to me now, that's how they first start out. That's how they look at me, but they're not sitting in the cell. So when I look at them, I see a reflection of where I came from. But I also see where they can go. Because at that time, I didn't want to kill myself, and I didn't know what to do. So what I did was I started thinking about what kept landing me in that same situation. So I began to question myself, like, what is wrong with you? And I can only imagine the participants that come to me now randomly, they come to me looking for a way out. They come to me looking for hope. And I tell them the truth because I go right back to that same cell when I'm talking to them. I say, it's inside of you. You got to ask yourself this one question. Who am I? The same way I just said that about them, that's what I had to say about myself. Who am I? This is 2010. Mm-hmm. This is a story that transcends that moment for not just my life. It's for the probably 1,000 people that I've touched already for sharing my faults and God's grace. And this is near and dear to me to the point where I see hope through them because I look for the future to change for the better for individuals that's been trapped as an underdog. So an underdog to me is someone that has already been deemed that'll be a no good for nothing. That's the same thing that I used to hear when I was 10 and 11 years old. And in that time, I believed that until I escaped death so many times. The person that's sitting across you right now, Gary, and that's sitting in front of you all, wasn't the person that you see. I was an invisible man. I have people that come up to me right now today and their lifestyles may reflect that they're invisible to others because they're trapped in generational poverty just like I was. But a person that's invisible can become visible. But they need someone to support them and help them see it. And the support don't have to be giving them something. The support is letting them know that they have something inside of them to offer, not just to Dubuque, but to the entire world.
Powerful message. Who wouldn't want to jump on that bandwagon? Let me tell you, this guy's a winner. He now knows he's a winner. And he is influencing and he's motivating any number of young people in our community to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, as the old saying goes. You got to help yourself. And we're going to meet several participants in the program who are in the midst of taking those 7 steps of change. So let's meet out of the gate here this evening. Caprice, thank you for a very inspiring visit there and self-commentary. It takes a lot to reveal your inner self like that in front of the public. But next we're going to meet Jesse Becker. Let's meet Jesse right now.
My name is Jesse Becker, and I'm from Dubuque, Iowa. I've lived in Dubuque 30 years. Growing up, I had a lot of issues with alcohol. I was considered an alcoholic pretty much at a very young age. Had issues on and off with alcohol and drugs. I ended up leaving a long-term relationship on my own. Was doing really good for about 10 years. When I went out on my own, I was involved in a lot of programs, but then eventually ended up kind of just giving in. So I kind of went back into drug addiction and alcohol. And then I ended up violating my probation. I spent a couple months in jail, and then I was in the residential facility, so that put a big toll on me and my daughter. I went to a couple groups while I was at the residential facility. I ended up attending a trauma group that they offered, and then through that program, Caprice asked me if I was interested in joining Partners in Change. So at that point, I had nothing to lose, so I figured I'd just join. It's pretty much come as you are, be open, honest, there's no judgment. Since being in the program, it's strengthened my relationship with my daughter and myself. Just that whole trust thing kind of came back up. It's all about consistency and just kind of showing who you are and what you want in life. I mean, at this point, I'm all that she has right now. There's no going back to who I was or what I was doing. I mean, it's go time. It's changed or be back in jail and she has nobody. So, I mean, Caprice has been a great help, but I kind of look at him as like a mentor, like a life coach almost. I mean, it's all basically based on what you want to put into it and how much you want to change yourself. It's important for me to never give up on myself because my daughter depends on me, and hopefully give her more insight and outlook that there is more than just what is here in front of you. I'd want to thank the Fountain of Youth and Caprice for believing in me, pushing me to continue in the program, even though there were times when I'd fall back and want to retreat a bit, and helping me feel that there is more out there for me than just what I'm allowing myself to have.
How about that face? She's fired up. She's confident. She's tasted success. She's working 2 jobs with a beautiful little girl. And thank you, Jesse, for your heartfelt visit with us here on our Fountain of Youth fundraiser. And that's who you take care of.
Absolutely.
That's who you jumpstart. Get them started.
Yeah, and I believe someone like Jessie, when she came to me, she basically just came for somebody to help her through her moments. And Jessie, Jessie is a diamond in the rough. Jessie is going to one day go with me into the prison system to help women that's in prison, help them reclaim their children back and their confidence back. Jessie is a fighter, and Jessie is a warrior, and she's a Dubuque native.
And that's what tonight's all about, helping people, like Jessie, with our silent auction, our live auction, and our Fund a Cause. Let's lighten the mood here for a minute, Caprice, and maybe a little less serious. Want to talk about some of these live auction items that our wonderful businesses have sent our way to help us with our goal of $30,000 tonight, $30,000 tonight, and for the next 24 hours to take care of our friends at a great cause, which is Fountain of Youth, started in Dubuque in 2016, thanks to this man sitting to my right. First item up, in no particular order, there's still plenty of cookout dates left. Today was a beautiful day. Tomorrow's a beautiful day. Temperature's going to drop a little bit, but you know how the fall can be around Dubuque-Land and such a beautiful part of the world when the colors start to change. So don't lose sight of those backyard cookouts yet. We've got our first item, a Charbroil Performance 5-burner liquid propane gas grill with even a side burner. And our friends at Lowe's have donated this. You told me that Mike Bryson, the Lowe's general manager, has been very, very supportive of your cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to Mike because Mike is doing a lot for this community as a whole. Mike is always there to help any organization as well as people that live in the community. I mean, he dedicates his life to helping others. And I thank you, Mike, man, for not just being a friend to me, but also to the whole community of Dubuque.
Well, Lowe's has been a great community supporter ever since they arrived in Dubuque quite a few years ago now. I remember when they built that place out there close to Walmart, and it's been a wonderful performance by Lowe's and all of our businesses. So again, the Charbroil Performance 5 burner liquid propane gas grill. You can get your tank refilled at Lowe's as well. Now this has a $250 value. That seems to me to be far from what. Just take a look at that baby. I mean, that looks like at least twice the $250 value. But it's a $250 value. We're going to ask for a starting bid of $200. Starting bid of $200. Thanks again to Lowe's for helping the Fountain of Youth program. The next item is 7G Distributing, offering up a Roller 45 Rover cooler with strap-on foldable tote. It's a mouthful. I got to get this jaw loosened up. We're back to football here in about a month, and what better tailgate tag-along than this Roller 45 Rover donated by 7G Distributing. This is nearly a $400 value, and we're asking for a starting bid of $200 there. It looks like you could pack everything you need for whether it's a family picnic or a football game, Caprice, thanks to 7G.
Thank you, 7G, for supporting the Fountain Youth program and for supporting the community.
Yeah, now you can bid now, you can bid often, you can bid throughout the evening. And I gave you that website a moment ago. I'd like to give it to you again right now. It's a lengthy one, but it's worth the wait. qtego.net/qlink, QLINK/FOY, FOY. You can see those items that we just mentioned, and a handful of others that we'll talk about throughout the evening. There's also a silent auction page, and I've been told you're going to extend the silent auction, Rose, till what, 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. They will shut down the silent auction, so you got some time to huddle up and talk with family members and friends and pick out an item or two that you like. But the bottom line is you're going to help out such a worthy organization and a worthy leader in Caprice Jones, and it's called the Fountain of Youth. You've heard about it. They're in the United Way building right downtown at 7th and Old Main. In fact, not even a stone's throw from the town clock. You're right underneath the town clock, aren't you?
Hear it every day.
Huh? Yeah, you can hear that beautiful music it plays in the morning and the gong. And so, and you're invited to stop in and talk to Caprice at any time if you want to extend a hand of welcome and support throughout the year, correct? Your door is always open.
Well, you know, Gary, a fist bump.
That's right. Elbow bump or a fist touch until we get through this pandemic that this generation or several previous have never experienced. But you know what? That's when people are most charitable and most generous, aren't they? When the chips are down, or you think the chips are down.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
We're going to continue to move on. Let's look at one more live auction item before we get to our next feature. Turn the page here. We've talked about the grill and the roller cooler. Oh, what timing. Here's a Hawkeye tailgate package for you. This is loaded up, Caprice. Hawkeye can jam game, insulated tumblers, a $25 gift certificate to Mickey's Irish Pub, $40 to the Vine Tavern and Eatery. Now, these are in Iowa City. A free pizza at the Airliner. I know that's in Iowa City. But then, likewise, you get a custom Hawkeye board set donated and personally made by TM Boards. That's Tom Millen. Did I get that right, Tom Millen? Rose? Yeah, Tom Millen. Milius, excuse me. I can't read my own writing here. Sorry about that, Tom. The boards and the bags, custom built, donated by TM Boards. Couple Hawkeye folding chairs, 4 Hawkeye koozies, a halftime Hawkeye cooler, 1 all-weather blanket, and all the good eating from several stops in Iowa City. You're probably sensing that Dubuque, like most of Iowa, is a Hawkeye state. I know you came from Chicago.
Yeah.
But
I've also learned that you are a big Hawkeye fan.
Well, I grew up a Hawkeye fan, and yeah, I better be a Hawkeye fan or I'm in trouble. With all due respect, I know we have some UNI grads here tonight, and of course the Cyclones and the Hawks, unfortunately, they didn't get to play this fall, but they will in basketball. But yeah, it's there's nothing quite like a Saturday afternoon at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, or any other Big Ten campus for that matter. It's a wonderful rite of passage each and every fall. Okay, so the starting bid is $200, but that's very reasonable when you consider this is a $635 valued package, okay? So jump on that website, bid early, bid often, bid a lot to support our Fountain of Youth cause. All right, next item here on the agenda. As I flip my page, Caprice, we're moving on here. We're going to be on the air for a while yet. But the live auction has started, and Shawnee will be punching the button at the end of the night. We'll give you a 30-second countdown to the live auction ending, and the silent auction will continue until 5 o'clock tomorrow. All right, time to meet another participant. Joe Gruber is another one of your favorites, and before we have Caprice comment on Joe, let's listen in.
My name is Joseph Gruber. I grew up here in Dubuque. About 17 years ago, I moved to Oklahoma City, and I stayed down there for about 16 years. My girlfriend and I have a daughter that's down there, and we all moved down there, and part of the reason was I was looking for a new start. I had some issues with drugs, and then I had some health issues, and I came back to Dubuque to live here now. On my arrival back here, I didn't really have a place to stay, so my cousin, Sandy, she took me in, gave me a roof over my head. I've got my drug addiction conquered, my alcoholism conquered, I quit smoking, but there were still things in my life that I talked to her about that needed changes, and she suggested the Fountain of Youth would be a great place for me to look to maybe get help in looking for those changes that I wanted to implement in my life. Me and Caprice, after I believe I went to 3 or 4 meetings, he described the Partners in Change and offered for me to join that, and I jumped at the chance. Everything that he was offering, the program was offering, and the people that were down there were offering, all seemed to fit into something that I was looking for that I couldn't find on my own. The Fountain of Youth is here to help. Now, they're not going to do things for you. This is an effort-based program as far as I'm concerned. It's a wide variety of things that are offered here, and they truly can help just about anybody. I mean, anybody who wants to look change in something, this is a good place to come to start. It taught me how to kind of forgive myself, and at the same time try to let others know that I'm not the same person I was, that things are changing in my life and they're changing for the better. I'm more in tune with myself. I've become financially responsible again. I now have a credit score. I recently got to purchase a new used vehicle. The one thing that really gets me excited is when Caprice calls me and asks me if I'd like to be a part of something that he wants to try, or if he wants me to join in on a meeting or something. That's what really gets me going on. What he's done for me and the Fountain Youth has done for me, now I can sit in and maybe connect with somebody else and help them feel the same way I do. I feel part of the community now. part of me being part of the Fountain of Youth brought me into the community. What can you say? I mean, there's not a big enough thanks that I could say. I mean, I've found some friends here. I found a mentor. I found a purpose.
Joe looks like a jovial, happy guy, thanks in large part to the Fountain of Youth. Give us a little more insight into Joe's story.
Well, when Joe first came to me, it was a relationship that had to grow over time because Joe has been through a lot in life, and one thing I can say about Joe is he's a consistent person, and he's a true friend to people that he befriends. And Joe is an awesome guy. He's very genuine, and he's very caring. And Joe's also a person that challenges himself. Joe has overcame a lot of different obstacles, and Joe is consistent and focused. And I'm just happy that I got to meet Joe because Joe really has done something to my life as an individual.
You've got over 100 youngsters and young adults like Joe that are looking for a chance to improve their lives, and they're willing to get fired up from a work perspective, from a motivational perspective, and sometimes you got to light the spark. You got to start the engine, and that's what Fountain of Youth does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's people like Joe though. He's been around a while. He's had a lot of different health issues, but the one thing that stood out to me about Joe was he never gives up on what he tries to accomplish, and I think Joe sparked something in me on a different level.
Joe looks like a warrior.
Yeah.
He looks like a fighter, that he's not going to be told no in life, that everybody can, if they got that chance, can go on and be successful. That takes dollars. It takes great organizations like Fountain of Youth, but it also takes lots of funding. And you're pretty self-supportive, aren't you? There's no tax dollars coming in that I'm aware of.
No.
So you depend on the community?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got a great working relationship with people like Mike Van Milligan, Dubuque City Manager, Rick Dickinson with the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, and you've had a lot of people jump on board.
Yeah, I mean, and also I've begun to build relationships with them as well. Far as like I look to them for like professional development, so I have meetings with them so they can sharpen me up because I've never been an executive director before.
Sure.
So they've taught me a lot, but they also taught me like how to be a more family man and responsible man. So I never really had a lot of that growing up as a kid because I was always into bad things, and I never stood around to try to get positive advice from individuals. But I believe that the Dubuque community and the people that's elected officials and also that's hired officials that control things for people's lives to get better, they welcome me with open arms.
You bring up a great point. By the way, it's qtego.net, qtego.net/qlink/FOI. That's how you can help tonight, by dialing into that link and pledging. We'll talk about Fund a Cause in just a minute, but you'll see all of our live auction items. You'll see the list of silent auction items. The live auction will conclude at 7:30 tonight. We'll give you a 30-second countdown. The silent auction and those goodies are available to bid on through 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Why Dubuque? Why? How did your path form to come to Dubuque? You could have gone to the Quad Cities, to Waterloo, to Sioux City, to Des Moines. Something obviously struck a chord with you to not only come and work and build these relationships, but to build a family in Dubuque.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. My beautiful wife.
Okay.
So
that's a good reason.
Yeah. I got out of prison in 2013, and I don't know if you know the statistics, what's going on in Chicago.
I do.
But there was a lot of violence then. It's even worse now. And it was death like literally all around us. So it was like death around the corner. And it was closing in fast, not because I was involved in anything, because I had changed my life and my lifestyle. But it was like random shootings and My wife said that she had an opportunity to move out here, and she wanted a new opportunity because she was pregnant with our son, with my first biological son. And she said, I'm leaving. I want to give him opportunity to, to grow up and to have a future. And I talked to my pastor at the time in Chicago, and he said, man, pray about it, but follow your wife, man. Because I was still on parole, so I had a goal to get off parole a year early. In Illinois, if you have 3 years parole, usually you're going to have to do those whole 3 years. Nonetheless, you do everything required to get off early. I got the phone call in 2015. They said, Caprice, the state has released you off parole a year early. And I moved straight out here. But I had visits, I had passes to come out here for my parole officer, and I'll come out here with my family, but I had to go back to check in for parole. So I wasn't stationary here. It'd be every 2 weeks.
Sure. And it's what, a 3-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive, so it's not terribly far. It's long enough. And you probably got that drive down pretty good now, don't you?
I don't like it, though.
Well, when you get to the interstate, it's a little easier than Highway 20, snaking through a beautiful part of the country, though, Joe Daviess County and on to Rockford. But we'll leave that for another day. qtago.net/qlink/FOI, okay? Log on and help out the Fountain of Youth. Our goal tonight, the next couple of days, is $30,000. And if we blow past that goal, I know we will, the additional monies will be well spent on great stories that you've heard tonight and going forward. Okay, you can see the star on the screen there. It's starting to fill up. We're a little over $5,000, so hey, we're moving in. You see the names on the screen. Thank you all. Sharon Kress, I know Sharon very well, and we appreciate all the great support. Sharon's one of your good friends from Rotary.
Yeah.
And I know that's an organization you think a lot of.
I actually know Sharon, though, from the first place that I worked in Dubuque, which was St. Luke's United Methodist Church. That's why I actually started the Founding Youth Program.
It originated at St. Luke's.
Yes. Well, I was working there, and I was, I was there.
I think that is, if I got this right, Iowa's oldest congregation.
Yeah.
St. Luke's United Methodist Church with the French Tiffany windows up the street there at 13th and Main. By the way, we're in the newly remodeled NICC, Northeast Iowa Community College, downtown location, and what a cool setting this is tonight.
Yeah. I think Dr. Wee and his staff, they really did an excellent job with the remodeling of this. This place is beautiful.
It really is. And Dr. Wee, speaking of great assets, great citizens in the community, I'm on a couple of boards with Dr. Wee. So humble, so giving, so charitable, and I'm sure he's going to has and will continue to support your organization. Let's talk about a couple more live auction items. The guys are ready to load them up for me. And we've had a gas grill to talk about, propane gas grill. How about a 65-inch flat screen for your football enjoying days? Of course, we want you to turn the sound down, turn the radio up, for obvious reasons. But there you see it. Item number 144, 65-inch Class 5 Series LED 4K UHD Smart Vizio SmartCast TV. Now, our good friends at Dendlinger Herrig Insurance have donated this, led by Randy Taylor. It's nearly a $500 value. How about an early Christmas present for somebody, Caprice? We're going to start the bid at a low $200. Now, hopefully, those bids shoot up significantly, but for a $500 65-inch flat screen, thanks to our friends at Dendlinger Herrig Insurance and Randy Taylor, a $470 value, we're asking for a starting bid of $200 to fund our friends at the Fountain of Youth. Next item is item number 145. Now, this is unique. Joey Wales Band performance at a private club room at Jimmy's Pub, and that's in East Dubuque. It's 32 Cincinnati Avenue in East Dubuque, right off the bridge. And this includes a $200 food and beverage gift card. So great music, great chow, and icy cold beverages. If you want a cup of coffee, we'll find you a cup of coffee too. But a starting bid here, please, of $350. You know, an outstanding performing band like this would command several $1,000s at a sitting. We're asking for a minimum bid of $350 for this, and thanks to our friends at Jimmy's Pub in East Dubuque.
Absolutely.
What are you, jazz,
I like
rock and roll, rap, or a consortium of all those?
variety of all.
A variety of
Yeah. But lately I've been listening to a lot of gospel music.
Christian music.
Yeah.
I should have said that first.
And also R&B, but older R&B.
Rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
I can't beat that. That's right. That's got a Memphis beginning to it. When I was growing up, Nat King Cole was Sinatra and Nat King Cole, my two favorites. Certainly Ella Fitzgerald. If I had to pick a couple females to go with old Blue Eyes and the incomparable Nat King Cole, it would be Ella Fitzgerald and Rosie Clooney. So you'll get that kind of enjoyment listening at Jimmy's Pub by Joey Wales Band, and they play all genres. So private room at Jimmy's Pub, $200 food and beverage gift card. Please start us out at a $350 minimum bid, and I'm guessing you can bring a bunch of your friends. I don't see there's any minimum number here. We're here to support the Fountain of Youth. Okay, we'll get back to more live auction items in a minute, but let's talk about Fund a Cause. This is where you just write out a check, send it in, drop it off, pledge it on our website there, qtago.net/qlink/FOY. Fund a Cause. This is an easy way to get to that $30,000 total, and I bring that up because many of us, we've been to, I orchestrate a few fundraisers annually in Dubuque, and I see the same people and a few new faces at every one of them. And maybe we've all got flat screen TVs or gas grills, or we just want to write out a check to help Fountain of Youth. That's not a bad way to raise money, right? And we encourage them to do that for such a wonderful cause.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. If you would like to just write out a check, Fund a Cause, we're going to start at the $5,000 level. I understand we've got a little seed money that has been pledged at that $5,000 level. And hey, if we get 6 $5,000 contributors, we've reached our goal. And then we can go way past that. So all of you, raise your hand. Let me see your hands out there. A $5,000 pledge for Fund a Cause, we would appreciate that. Our next level is the $4,000 level. You know what you can afford. You can be anonymous. And we'd love to tout your name and give you a shout out if you so choose. But most people in this community are humble, hardworking, full of humility. They want to help. They have the wherewithal to do that, even in these tough pandemic times. $4,000. How about you, those of you that would like to contribute at the $4,000 level? $5,000, $4,000, now we get to $3,000. We'd like those of you that can afford it to send us $3,000 for the Fountain of Youth and help out over 100 and growing, that list of youngsters starting at age 16, and you've got a couple 50-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
So you're helping all age groups, male, female. You've met a couple of our wonderful constituents here tonight, Jesse and Joe, and they so appreciate your support, as does Caprice and his organization that is Fountain of Youth. All right, so we're at the $3,000 level now. Let me ask, we'll go down to $1,500. For those of you that would like to fund a cause for $1,500, please pledge at qtago.net/qlink/FOY.
Could I let them know what that would pay for?
I was just going to turn and ask you, we've got all these wonderful live auction items we're selling at a great cost, reasonable cost tonight. These $5,000 pledges, 4, 3, now $1,500. What does that fund immediately and long term?
Well, $1,500 will fund one participant for 6 months.
Wonderful.
And so the $5,000 level will fund several participants for 6 months, or a couple for a year. 3 or 4 for a year, and it goes straight into operating funds so that we can actually have the employees and also the programming that we need possible to make it happen. So it basically helps us keep the doors open and also keep us to be able to give quality work.
And that's so generous of you to talk about where the pennies and the dollars go. Give us an idea on your operational budget. What's it cost to run on an average year for the Fountain of Youth? It's like all organizations, it's expensive.
Well, yeah, this year it's the biggest budget we ever had thus far. It's $240,000 this year.
And those dollars are well spent. I can tell you, I've been inside the building, the old location, now the new one, which is wonderful, in the United Way building on 7th Street. It's the old mall building right downtown off the main drag, right underneath the Town Clock Plaza. All right, so we've touched on the $5,000, $4,000, $3,000, $1,500 level, and now we're getting down there. What's next up? $1,000. $1,000. You just mentioned what $1,500 will support for a 6-month period. $1,000 is going to get you at least halfway to that level, and again, the difference you make in people's lives, they are so appreciative of the generosity.
Absolutely.
$1,000 for those of you that can contribute $1,000, we would appreciate it. Go to qtego.net, net/qlink/FOY. And our last giving level is $500. Now, if you can't afford $500, you'd like to send $250, $100, $300, by all means, please do, because those add up in a hurry. $5,000, $4,000, $3,000, $1,500, $1,000, and $500. That star is navy bluing up for us, Caprice. It's great to see. We're approaching 10 grand for the 45 minutes we've been on the air, just short of 10 grand. The live auction bid is going on until 7:30 tonight. The silent auction bid is available until 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Thanks, guys. There it is, right in front of you. qtego.net/qlink/FOY. In order to place a bid or donate to the fund, you must register on QTego. There's a reporting mechanism that, like all charitable and nonprofit organizations like Fountain of Youth, that they have to follow. And so we want to make this very legal, upfront, and available for anybody who would like to visit Fountain of Youth or ask about their finances. This is we're all revealing here. $5,000, $4,000, $3,000 level, $1,500, $1,000, and the $500 level, which will get us to $30,000, our $30,000 goal in a expedient fashion tonight. And again, anything less than $500, please send your check for $50, $100, $150, $200. Back to our live auction now. Let's see. We left off, Caprice, at Joey Wales' band performance in a private room at Jimmy's Pub in East Dubuque with that $200 food and beverage gift card. And I'm guessing the gang at Jimmy's, if you ran a little over the $200 gift card, they'd probably maybe provide a free round or a free pizza. Mama Tess and the Chain of Fools band performance with private rental space will be available for you. Item number 146 at the Convivium Urban Farmstead. And this is, what a great story this has turned into at 2811 2811 Jackson Street, just north of downtown Dubuque. All natural, all giving. I've been by the building a few times, been in for a cup of coffee. It's really a neat story. Have you been there?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Many times.
Many times. Oh, well, that's what I want you to say. Yeah.
Yes.
You've been up there, and thanks to Leslie Shalaby or Shalaby? Shalaby. Sorry, Leslie. Leslie Shalaby, who's providing food and beverage along with Mama Tess and the Chain of Fools band performance with private rental space. It's such a pretty neighborhood.
Yeah, that's also another awesome nonprofit that's helping the community.
It is. Great story in the paper the other day that I read about Convivium. So that's item number 146. Let's take a look at item number 147. Okay, for your lady, for your special or your significant other, white 14-karat liverback diamond earrings, donated by our friends at Dolan Jewelers. They are so supportive of many organizations, fundraising organizations in the community, and the latest is to benefit from the charitable giving of Dolan Jewelers is the Fountain of Youth. This is a $900 value. All we're asking for is a minimum bid, a startup bid of $300. And everybody can piggyback off that, but let's get to that $900 value at least. That would fund a number of scholarships or partial scholarships at the Fountain of Youth. Perhaps, Caprice, you may want to bid on this for your beautiful bride, as you mentioned just a few minutes ago. Not putting any pressure on you, but Christmas is coming. He's speechless. I knew he would be. But those white 14-karat lever-back diamond earrings, courtesy of our friends at Diamond Jewelers. Dolan Jewelers. The diamond earrings are from Dolan Jewelers. $900 value, starting bid, please, of $300. Let's take a look at the rest of our items. Seeing flights over Dubuque, that includes the Mississippi River and the Bluffs, courtesy of Vaughn's Automotive out there on University Avenue, out near JFK Road, University and close to JFK. Vaughn's Automotive, a long-time outstanding member in our community, thanks to the Vaughn family. I have been up in a small single-engine airplane any number of times back in my television days, shooting newsreel footage over the city of Dubuque. Old Beyer the Flyer, they used to call him, Al Beyer, would take me up in his two-seater, and there is nothing as spectacular as flying over the river bluffs, the Mississippi, up north and hang a left. If we come back now and go down south, if you just follow the river, it's spectacular. This part of God's country is, as you're finding out, the last few years that you've lived here, it's unparalleled, unequaled.
I agree. It's definitely a masterpiece on the Mississippi.
I bet you've been down to the river. Do you fish?
No.
Well.
I eat fish.
You eat fish, yeah. You and I are a lot alike, let me tell you. So that's a next live, and we'd ask for a starting bid of $200. Airplanes they're pricey to fly for any length of time, and so we feel a starting bid of $200 is so appropriate. Item number 148. That's a half-hour sightseeing flight over the Dubuque area. We have several of those to bid tonight, so please support the Fountain of Youth program with that silent auction item. All right, next item, number 148. Number 149. If you don't want to see the river from above, you can see it from down below. In fact, you can see it from on the river, thanks to our buddy Rick Dickinson. Yeah, that Rick Dickinson of the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. And it's a pontoon ride for 8. And Rick's the pilot. This is his boat. He'll spin you through Pool 12 and back. Starting bid of $200. Now think about this. He's providing snacks and drinks as well. And what better time than we're about to turn the page on September and October. The beautiful colors, the sequential changes of all the colors along the river, the Mississippi, whether you go north through Lock and Dam 11 or go south to Bellevue or beyond. It's just a spectacular sight to see when you're on the river. And now you can do it with 8 of your friends or a group of 8 with a guy who will, I'll guarantee you, share his comedic style and talents with some of the worst jokes you've ever heard and some of the best jokes that you'll ever hear. Rick could do stand-up. He really could. That's why he and the GDDC have been so successful in convincing countless businesses to relocate or to start up in Dubuque, like the Fountain of Youth. But Rick, I kid, he's on the Dubuque Racing Association Board of Trustees with me, and we have a lot of fun jabbing each other back and forth. But Rick, thanks so much for donating your pontoon boat, a ride for 8 through Pool 12 and back at your discretion this fall. We're asking, there's not a price on it. I would say this, it's priceless, because you're seeing some of the most beautiful scenery on God's green earth. But we're asking for a starting bid of just $200. I'm guessing right now that bid has already been made, that minimum bid. What do we got next, guys? Let's get it up there as we wind down our program. Oh, well, I know a little something about this. Item number 155. This is our final live auction item. It's 4 tickets. Now, I'm going to change this up a little bit, Caprice, just to spice it up a tad. Originally, it was 4 football tickets to an Iowa home game, Big Ten Iowa home game. They got a great schedule. at Kinnick. Of course, there's no place like Kinnick. I'm a little prejudiced there, but Wisconsin, Nebraska is at home this year. Those are the two marquee matchups. Northwestern and Michigan State are the other opponents. But there's some doubt that fans will be allowed in because of the COVID, okay? Well, I will get you 4 tickets to next year Big Ten football game in Kinnick Stadium. We're trying to make this as palatable as possible given the circumstances. But then I thought, you know what? Everybody's a football fan, but there might be a more passionate basketball fan in the viewing audience. Now, I think you'll agree that the Iowa basketball team is going to be something special this year. They've got, in my view, the best player in college basketball. I thought he was last year. He didn't win it. And kudos to Obi Toppin from Dayton, because he's phenomenal too. But Luka Garza averaged 26 points a game last year in Big Ten play. You got to go back to the big dog, Glenn Robinson at Purdue in 1994, to find a player that last averaged that many points. And yet Luka Garza is so much more than a scorer. He's a rebounder, he's a fighter, he's a shot blocker, he's a passer. He is worth the price of admission alone. But now add in Jordan Bohannon's back off injury, Jack Nungy's back off injury. You got the phenomenal talented Joe Wieskamp, Joe Toussaint out of the Bronx, C.J. Frederick, who led the Big Ten in three-point field goal shooting percentage last year. I'll give 4 tickets to an Iowa basketball game if you'd rather go to Carver Hawkeye Arena. And then I thought, now the Iowa basketball team, by the way, is top 5 ranked preseason. Then I thought, well, wait a minute. We got the best wrestling program in the history of the sport, or at least this side of Oklahoma State. How about 4 tickets to, have you ever been to Carver Hawkeye for an Iowa wrestling match? I mean, it is just the most unique, phenomenal experience. 13,000 fans a match last year. The number 1 ranked Iowa wrestling team with the top wrestler in America at the 125-pound weight class. Spencer is worth the price of admission. So I'm thinking, okay, you want wrestling, you want Iowa basketball, you want Iowa football. You can have your pick this year or next year, depending on fan participation if you're allowed in the building. And if they're not allowed because of the COVID this year, we'll take care of you next year. So it's long and windy, I understand, but I get a little passionate about my Hawkeyes. You can have either 4 football tickets, 4 basketball tickets, or 4 wrestling meet tickets to Iowa football, basketball, or Hawkeye wrestling, okay? That package, and 4 pizzas to our friends at Maggie's Woodfire Pizza in Iowa City. So regardless of what event you go to, you're getting 4 great pizzas to enjoy, maybe not at the same time, not in one night, but throughout the winter months in Iowa City when you go down to root on your favorite Iowa team. All right? Starting bid, $200. I mean, the football tickets alone are worth roughly $300. They're my season tickets, so they're decent seats. They're not great seats, but they're decent seats. There's really not a bad seat in Kinnick Stadium. Or my 4 basketball season tickets, they're good seats. Or 4 wrestling tickets. I know Tom Brands. I can get 4 tickets to and that's a valued item in Iowa City these days, with Iowa ranked number 1 coming into the season. So you decide which sport you want to see. It's all to support our Fountain of Youth. All right? That should bring in $500, I would think, minimum.
Thank you.
All right. My pleasure. Thank you. Those are our live auction items. Back one more time to Fund a Cause, Caprice. Fund a Cause will solve a lot of issues for our friends at the Fountain of Youth, right across the street from our NICC location in the United Way building. What are we at? We're about $8,500. Thanks to everybody who's contributed tonight. You have until 7:30 this evening, and then Shawnee will give you that 30-second countdown, and you can get your final bids in on the live auction items. I see Joe Hearn's name there, Jesse Freiberger. Thanks to Jesse, Laura Roussel, Laura Roussel family involved tonight. Thanks to all of you, Dave Clevitter at DePaco, And my eyes aren't what they used to be. Oh, LaDonna Modernak. Thanks, LaDonna. So the website again is qtego, QTEGO.net/QLink/FOI. And let's see if we get to that 30,000. Again, the fund to cause levels 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 1,500, 1,000, or 500. What have we left off? Have I forgotten anything, Caprice? We've been on the air for about an hour and 10 minutes. The live auction again is going until 7:30 tonight. I know what we want to do. We want to thank the sponsors and our watch party sponsors tonight. You even got watch parties going on for this event. How about that?
I think that's fantastic. Give people a chance to have fun and raise money.
A lot of love out there for the Fountain of Youth. So thank you to all of you folks sponsoring watch parties. And Rose reminded me to thank the event committee volunteers. Certainly we want to do that for their time and effort. I want to thank Bill Scott and his crew here tonight for making this video, a live portion video on Facebook and elsewhere possible. So to the committee volunteers, Lauren Meinert, Deb Schrader, Chris Lester, a shout out to Marla Loki, Board Vice President Kim Buddy for her leadership. Thanks to all the watch parties out there. A lot of refrigerators are being raided at this very moment in the homes of our watch party hosts. And please leave us a comment on your favorite part of the night on Facebook. And we've got another little less than 20 minutes to go in the live auction item. What was your favorite item that we ran through tonight? We look forward to hearing from you, not only on the auction items and the silent auction items, which you can bid on until 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then if you win or are the successful bidder for either silent or live, you can pick those up at the office, right?
At the Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth, which again is on Locust,
7th Street.
220 West 7th Street.
In the United Way building.
Just go about 50 steps south of the town clock, and you'll see the friendly faces at the Fountain of Youth. Give me some closing comments before we say goodnight.
Well, I just want to thank you, Gary, for taking the time to help us try to raise some money so that we can try to reach our budget for the year. This is a very important and special event for us. We wanted to do our annual fundraiser back in April, but then COVID-19 hit and we was not able to do it. And so we couldn't just give up on it completely because, we need the funding. And I believe that people like Happy Smith's production, people like you, people like all of our sponsors, people like the community members, and just people that's supportive of the Fountain Youth Program is what made tonight possible. And I just thank you and everyone that was watching and that was, trying to donate and help us, and just continue to try to help us and support us in all ways possible. I'm just appreciative and thankful.
Well said, and we're doing this evening, due in large part, as you said, because of the COVID. We'd love to have people, smiling faces right in front of us. You had a wonderful fundraising dinner and award ceremony last year at, where was it, the Hotel Julian?
Yeah, at the Hotel Julian.
The Hotel Julian, and a year from now, if we spin fast forward, we're all back to some sense of normalcy, but until then, we got great people like the gang at Happy Smith to reach you somehow, some way, and of course we so very much appreciate your generosity. So on behalf of Caprice Jones, Board President Brock Waterman, who am I missing? I
want to give a special thanks to my staff, Lori and Rose, because without them this wouldn't be possible. They did a phenomenal job. There's a lot of pressure because we never did something like this. Thank them from the bottom of my heart, as well as I like to thank my phenomenal board. My board, they do tireless contributions for the Fountain Youth Program. It's 15 of them, and some of them have been with me for 3 years, and they believe in what we're doing, and they push through any obstacle that we may face as a team. And I thank you all that's a part of my team.
Thanks to Caprice, to Brock Waterman, the board president, I'm Gary Dolphin. Again, the live auction runs until 7:30 tonight. You'll get a 30-second countdown. Silent auction items available for viewing and bidding until 5 o'clock tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy the fall.